that wanna but balloons. All right. All right, let's wait until we get some people in here. Oh. Tonight's podcast is actually going to be interesting. Hold on. Oh, damn. Yeah, okay, I guess we can use that. Holy shit, that's bright. That's bright as hell. All right. I'm going to wait till I get some more people up in here. All right. You know what? It's already 8 o'clock, so we are going to go ahead and start this. All right. What's going on, everybody? What is happening? This is your boy, Big Boss DBZ, coming at y'all, and I'd like to welcome everybody to the Outer Heaven podcast. Once again, this is your boy, Big Boss DBZ, coming at y'all, and tonight's topic is actually going to be quite interesting. Tonight's topic is, do men benefit in a marriage more than a woman? Now, before we get into this, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a lot of women that's going to be shots fired in here. I'm going to be posting a couple of videos that are going to be on my Facebook, because there was actually a woman that is actually backing up men when it comes to child support and splitting everything 50-50. Now, there's going to be a couple of points where I'm going to pause the video and then I'm going to discuss what they're talking about. And then we can actually have a special guest come up on here. Y'all can explain in the chat how y'all feel about the video and all that stuff. Hey, Terry, what's going on with y'all? We actually got quite the crowd going on tonight, guys. And I already expressed this earlier this morning. I've been getting a lot of comments on my TikTok about tonight. So without further ado, guys, I am going to flip the camera. It's going to be these three videos right here. Now, this one, most of all, right here, why men benefit from marriage more than women. So I hope you guys are ready. Strap in. Let's listen. Wait a minute.
Marriage.
All right, let's bag it up. We're going to expand it. All right, here we go.
Because men actually benefit from marriage more than women do. And when you look at the statistics of like post-divorce mental health outcomes, men have worse mental health outcomes than women. Women are typically happier after divorce. And so if you want to argue that marriage disproportionately benefits women, like, that's not true.
I'd be pretty unhappy too if I was on child support or alimony and I had a hard time seeing my kids.
And you had to support your children. What a hard life.
Well, you understand that it's not taxed.
Very snooty.
So the problem is they take over 50% of the man's income because it's not, so they have to pay taxes on the stuff they're giving her and take half of his paycheck.
To support his children that he wants to be involved in their lives.
Right, but it wasn't his choice because women leave the majority of the time.
It is his choice to relinquish his parental rights if he wants to.
What I'm saying is many men want to be married and they want to be an involved father and they want to stay with the mother of their children. My point is if she makes the decision to leave, she should pay for it. If you want to leave, that's totally fine, but you should pay to raise your kid.
Is it not his child as well?
And he should pay for the time. That's why I said 50-50 custody off the bat, no child support, no alimony.
So she gets to take on all of the child.
Now, I'm going to stop it right there, guys. Now, she just specified no child support, no alimony. So my personal opinion with this is everything is split 50-50. If the child is with the mother, then the mother pays for the child, her utilities, if she's working. Now, if the child is with the father, same thing. He pays for the child when that child is there, and he continues to pay for his apartment, his house, his utilities, whatever he's got there. Whatever he's got there, That's just my personal opinion. That's what it means to me when you split things down the middle. Now we're going to go ahead and continue with it.
Childcare responsibilities, but he gets, he doesn't have to like pay anything. He doesn't have to have any
I didn't say
buy-in,
all. I said 50-50 custody. He should have the kid half the time.
but doesn't have to pay any money towards it.
No, he should pay for the kid when the kid's at his house.
Bingo.
Okay, and so the majority of the time when the kid is at the mother's house, he doesn't have to be involved in any way financially.
No, she should pay for it. She has a job. Why should he have to pay for a kid?
He should
If
have to- he should support it.
What if she chose to have the kid and she chooses divorce? Why should she not have to pay for her own decision?
Now, do y'all guys agree with that? Now, she's specifying that if they are married and she wants the divorce, if she's the one that wants the divorce, then she should be the one that has to pay for all of that, plus pay for the money for that child living in her house if they separate. Do y'all agree? Let's keep going.
That's the thing. See, there it is. You want all the freedom to do whatever you want, but you don't want to have to pay for it.
No, because I also think that the
That's,
way that you look at these issues and the way that you look at these divorces is very nefarious towards women. And so I just think that it's very interesting to see the way that you speak about women and the way that you think about women and the way that you think that we make these decisions as if we're just flippantly getting a divorce and like taking advantage of men, as if like it's not more nuanced than that, because you don't seem to appreciate the nuance of the human experience and the complexity of relationships.
You know,
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. Again, there are some women that actually do take advantage, not just take advantage of men, but they also try to cheat and beat the system when it comes to Medicaid, food stamps, all this stuff. A lot of women, and I'm not saying all women, not all women, because most women do the damn thing. Y'all pay the bills, buy the food, do all that stuff. I'm not knocking those women. I'm talking about the women that not only have jobs, but try to beat the system, trying to doggone it, make more money, trying to use the government as to which to make more money. Let's keep going.
I think there are valid reasons for divorce. If women want to divorce, that's totally fine. They can do that. I think that they should pay for their decisions. Again, this goes back to, I say if you want the freedom to do something, you should take the responsibility that comes with it. You want them to have the freedom to do something, but not have the responsibility that comes with it. So you say you can have the freedom to divorce. Totally, we agree, right? We can have the freedom to be a single mother, to go into medicine or whatever career you want, but I think you should have the responsibility to pay for it. And I don't think that, do you think that's unreasonable?
Well, I would just flip it around, right? I would say that if men want the freedom to be a part of their child's life, then they should accept the responsibility that entails, which includes financial responsibility.
Well, I'm going to stop it again. As a man, of course, we accept that responsibility. I mean, it takes two, of course, to have kids. And as a parent, as a father, I take all that responsibility when it comes to going to their doctor's appointments, getting their shots, going to the dentist with them, getting their clothes, getting everything that they need when they are with us. Now, this is talking about when men and women separate, divorce-wise, because I can't say that I've dealt with that because I've been married, happily married, 17 years. I'm going to let y'all know. But I'm just saying, if guys and girls were to separate, that guy is responsible for that child in his household, in his house. He's responsible for the doctor. He's responsible for making sure he's got food in the house. He is technically not responsible for paying child support while that child is in his house. See, here's what I believe. I believe that if the child is living with the guy, 50-50, if he's living with the father, child support stops. He shouldn't even have to pay because the child is living with two parents, but separate. Does that make sense? Let's keep going.
But women have the right to work now
Yeah, but men still out-earn women.
because they...
Whoa, not true. That's not true. I'm going to tell you right now. Now, there's probably going to be a lot of pissed off women here. There are women that actually, and I'm not worried about this, there are some women that make more money than men. There are actually some women, as far as the workforce goes, that workforce is really on the rise when it comes to women. You see a lot of women nurses, you see secretaries, you see women judges. Hell, you even see police women out there. They do the damn thing. They go to college, they make a career and do everything. Men do out earn women on average. I do kind of agree with that, but like I said, there are a lot of women nurses. You don't see too many men nurses and everything. There are a lot of women that go to school, bust their butts to make all that money. Me personally, this is just my opinion. I potentially think that whatever a woman can do, so can a man, except for having children. But on the salary level, it really just depends upon the state that you live in. All right, let's keep going.
They do harder jobs.
Not necessarily, no. Because
You don't think doing an infrastructure job is more difficult than the number one employers of women, which is admin, assistants, education.
so
Education, you get out at like 3:00, 2:30. I mean, there's men dying, getting you the chair you're sitting on. There's men
Okay.
dying to protect you, literally.
So statistically, when they look at the gender wage gap, they've shown that women in the exact same positions with the exact same qualifications make less than men. So it's not this like strange overarching pattern that you like to point out that men are in these dangerous jobs and they run society. Like that's just not true when it comes to the gender wage gap. They've controlled for these variables when they study this, and there's still a very significant gender wage gap, even when you control for different industries, different degrees, different qualifications, different hours, women working all of the same things as men, hours, degrees, industries, education, whatever, still make less than men. So if you want to pull it back towards childcare or child support, then you have to recognize that like on a societal scale, like the wage gap is there, and so that's also going to contribute to the gap in child support and financial responsibility.
Well, women don't do as good of a job. They don't produce as much in the workforce. That's why
That's
they get
actually
paid less.
incorrect. They've
I disagree with that. I disagree. Again, I disagree with that. I still think that women just slightly, again, make more money than men when it comes to the workforce. Now, it depends on that job. Certain jobs in certain states. Now, let's say a nurse, a woman nurse in Texas could potentially outmake how can I put this? A man nurse in the state of Oklahoma. You know, every state's different. Every state has different minimum wages they really base it on experience. So really, technically, that kind of goes hand in hand. Potentially, guys can make more than women. Women can make more than men. It just really just depends on the experience, how long they've went to school for that job, how long they've been there for that job, and so forth.
they've done
They
an
make 80% of the world's stuff. Women.
okay.
Men have invented 90% of things. Men.
Where did you get that statistic?
Google it.
Google it. Right, I will.
Google it,
I mean,
really?
And I would argue that especially
A World
historically,
Without Men, too. It's in that book.
Okay.
It's an economist. He breaks down.
I would argue that also historically, women have been erased from their accomplishments.
Okay, I will say there is a book called A World Without Men. Now, I've never read it, but I touched up on it a little bit. Men has made 90% of things is a funny sentence. Now, I don't know the percentage. I really don't know. I really don't care. It's just the simple fact that this woman right here is, in a sense, making us try to be the bad guy. But me personally, it really shouldn't make a difference who makes more as long as they support one another. You know, it really shouldn't make a difference if man does most of the work. You know, my job, I can't speak for all men. But my job as a father and as a man is to support my family. You know, me and my wife, we go in hand. We do everything 50-50 down the middle. See, not everything is supposed to be on one person as a whole.
A lot of people don't know that Albert Einstein had a wife who actually helped him and got the same degrees that he did. She went to the same schools that he did, same classes, but they didn't award her a degree because she was a woman. And I'm not done. And she helped him.
Oh, well, you know what? I don't give a damn if you're done or not. That was back then. See, things were a lot different in that century versus up until now. So that information that she's giving right now is completely incorrect how it used to be then to how it is now.
Develop the monumental calculations that we still utilize today. And he's been quoted saying that he would be nowhere near as successful and would have never found developed the equations that he did without her. So that's just one anecdotal part. But when you look at the actual productivity and efficiency of women, if you are a female surgeon, you are going to have better surgical outcomes. This has been studied numerous times, and statistically, female surgeons have better outcomes than male surgeons. Because men actually...
Okay, I don't know about that. I think it's a mutual thing.
You don't speak English?
Hold on for a second. All right. Another video was trying to show up there. But we live in an age nowadays to where things are kind of crazy. Things are going to be crazy. You know, it all started with the whole divorce thing. You know, it started about, guys paying child support. But I actually kind of want to touch on that a little bit. Now, coming from a guy with experience with child support, with my oldest son and things like that, I paid child support up to 12 years. I paid her child support for 12 years, all the way up until he was legal. Now, in the state of Texas, once he reaches a certain age, he can decide who he wants to stay with. I got custody of him 12 years later. Now, I was asked if I wanted to get child support back from her. And my answer was no, because it's not really all about the money. I wanted my child. She can have all that money. The money, all that she spent on cigarettes, getting her clothes and all that so forth. I'm not trying to bash her or anything like that. That's not what I do. But I'm just going by the facts of what I've seen during the course of time. Guys are going to do what we want to do when it comes to our kids. We're going to be there regardless. But as far as the divorce rate and all that stuff, if we were to happen to separate, I believe in my heart of hearts that everything should be split down the middle. If I have my son, I should spend money on my son in my house and not give it to her. That's just me. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me on this Outer Heaven podcast. I hope everyone has had a great time here. By the way, if you happen to miss this, if y'all are just now joining up, I'm actually going to put this on my YouTube channel. That way y'all will be able to watch this at y'all's leisure. If you're a good father, you should not have to pay child support. 100%. I got you. But there are some women out there who are money hungry. I'm just telling you, JC, you have a 100% perfect point, but you just never know. Was it also because if you put her on support, she'd probably be in a bad situation? Doesn't matter about how bad of a situation she's in. She wasn't thinking about that when she put me on child support. I could have been in a bad situation. See, the door swings both ways, guys. The door swings both ways. So you can't really place feelings over conjecture. I believe that's the word I'm looking for. But I do appreciate that. I do appreciate those points. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this podcast here. Once again, this is going to be on my YouTube channel. So just in case if y'all guys missed it, y'all will guys catch it on there. But anyway, this is Big Boss signing off. I see you on the next podcast.